Right, we are going to be live in just a minute.
Yay!
See who's here with us. Be very exciting and fun.
Absolutely.
Oh, I got to mute my volume there. All right, there we go. Nice. All right, now I got to see who's here. I got to go to the control room, which is always very exciting. Thank you guys for being here with us early while we get all set up here. It's very exciting times. All right, perfect. So welcome. And if you have any questions while we go, you can put them into the chat.
Yes, please.
We are just getting ready to get started, but we are not quite there yet. So if you can just hang tight for a moment. Looks like your connection's doing great, Betina. I'm very excited about that.
Me too.
All right. So it is officially 4 o'clock. So I think we should get started. And I have a feeling people will be joining us as we go. So I just want to say welcome, everyone, to the Taringa Ranch Tuesday show for kids. And today we have a super special event. And we're here every Tuesday at 4. And some of our events are okay. And some of our events are awesome. And today's event is awesome. I am so excited to be bringing my friend Betina from her butterfly garden. Yay! So
Hi,
Betina, go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the garden. Let me see if I can flip the screen around so you guys can see the garden. And,
wow, look at that. Let me see if I can change the view here. Is that gonna work? Yes. Oh, perfect.
hey, so the garden is a little bit of a hot mess. The summer really dried everything out, and I just have not had time to catch up and prune everything like I would like to, but I did get this corner all pruned and added some new plants. This plant right here is the red fairy dust or the hair streaks, and those are those little blue butterflies and the gray butterflies. And then this is a sunflower that was actually given to me by Roger Clem, and this had it was for all the space. And I do have some non-natives in my garden, just because I like them, like this Australia bottle brush, and it's natives if you can do it. And you can see here the rest of the garden is still in need of getting a little cut back. And I am not the best with the names of my plants, so if you see something that catches your eye, I will try to figure out what it is. I think this one is coyote brush, but you can see that it needs to get cut back. To shape it so that it can look nicer in the garden. And then I'm going to be adding some plants to this space. This is going to get cleaned up, and I've got a lot more plants that I want to add. I'm going to add some more milkweed for the monarchs and a couple other plants. This one is called a desert marigold, and this guy has been blooming pretty much all summer, and I'm just so in love with this plant. Isn't that beautiful? And I actually have some poppies starting to come back in, so I'm very excited to see what spring will bring us. This one is California fuchsia, and this one you'll see the hummingbirds on it, as well as the cloudless sulfurs, the yellow butterflies. They will nectar off of this. which is kind of cool when you see that. Can you still hear me, Dana? Everything good?
Everything's good.
Okay. This beast of a tree is not a native, but this is a popcorn cassia, and this is a host plant for the sulfurs. So I oftentimes will see them patrolling through the garden, and they will lay their eggs on this plant. And what's really cool is they lay their eggs on the baby part of the plant. So, and as the plant, as this branch comes out, this leaf stem comes out like this, the eggs will hatch and the caterpillar will grow with it. And they'll get pretty big. And then they'll leave the plant, and you can tell where they've been if you see chew marks. And so I'm trying to see if I see anything, and it always never fails that I can't find anything when I'm looking, but you'll see, and in fact, I think I see an egg, maybe. Nope. But they'll kind of lay their eggs right in here, and then as this grows out, like this one did, they'll hatch, and then they'll start eating on that leaf stalk right there. And this one is a big favorite for my birds. They like to hide in here. And just the other morning, I came out and a Cooper's hawk was chasing some birds through this bush, tree thing, whatever you want to call it. And if you didn't think Cooper's hawk could maneuver through this, they can definitely dive bomb right through all of this. So it's kind of nice to leave things a little bit wild. And that's why I haven't been too quick to cut things back, just so the birds have some. I'll be adding some fill into here at this point.
It's looking good.
Okay. He's my guardian. I have in here, so this space is getting a little bit remodeled, so things are pruned back a lot. I'm actually going to enclose this whole space and move some chickens into here. Yes, I broke down and got chickens. Oy, what do you do? And but this plant right here is lilac verbena, and I have both kinds. I think it's called Paseo Robles, and then the verbena domina, something like that. I'm terrible at the names, but you can see it's starting to bloom. And when we had the migration of the painted ladies last year and 3 years ago, I would come outside and they would just be all over this bush, and not laying eggs or anything, but nectaring on it and having a drink as they were heading up to their spot. And this plant here got cut way back because, again, we're going to be adding up higher and adding a roof and enclosing this whole space to keep my chickens safe from said Cooper's hawk. But this is passion vine, and this is the host plant for the Gulf fritillary butterflies. And they're those cool orange looking butterflies that have the caterpillars are orange with like a black gray stripe, and they have little spikies on them. And then my other plant here, or the Dutchman's pipe vine, and this is the plant for the pipe vine butterfly. And flower is super duper cool. that I'm always excited to see it when it flowers.
Can you repeat that again? Which
What
flower
else
was
do I
that?
got? The California pipe vine.
Okay.
And so I think it's called Dutchman's. And flower actually looks like what the gentleman used to smoke back in the day. Actually, I'm sure some people still do. And it looks like a little tiny pipe. It's really cool. And then let's see, this plant here, it hasn't died back yet, but it's starting to. This is the native milkweed, the narrow leaf milkweed. And I can never remember scientific names, but plant. This is the one that you want to put in your garden for the monarchs as they migrate. And I have a bunch more that I need to plant, but they're coming back a little bit. I've noticed this year that they are dying back a little bit later in the season, and or not dying back at all. Like this guy is still going strong, and I've been seeing monarchs coming around laying eggs.
Okay, looks like we're having a little bit of a signal issue, but that's okay. As soon as she moves, I'm sure we'll see something else cool. Sometimes it's hard to get that cell signal in the yard. All right, I think we are frozen right now, but that's okay. I'm sure Betina will be popping back momentarily to tell us more about her awesome garden. Oh my goodness, it is so exciting to be in a garden with someone. Oh, there she is. She's
just
back.
had to move around a little bit, but yeah, so there's two I also noticed in my front yard, I had a yard sale this weekend. There was a monarch laying eggs on my pine needle milkweed, which is a native, but it's like San Diego area and then going out into the desert more. So I've never seen a monarch laying eggs on that, and I have seen caterpillars go on that plant but not stay on that plant. So I'm gonna experiment and see what happens and just kind of observe and watch and see if they end up using that as a host plant. Survive. Yeah, so any questions from anybody?
Yeah, so far I don't see any questions in the feed. I did want to ask though, now do you generally cut back everything in the fall?
No, this will actually be my first year really cutting things back because it's just gone really wild. And that's okay. Like I don't mind things going really wild. That's the whole point of this. And my garden is, yes, it's supposed to be a pretty garden, but it's also a garden for wildlife. And wildlife needs places to hide, and wildlife need you know, dead branches to make nests with, not. So I'm only cutting things back because it was getting to the point where I have a bunch of new plants, and the fact that things were so overgrown. So that was one of the reasons for it. And it's also, I think it's healthy to just, as you see things dying off, to just kind of cut them back. And so more for those reasons, to just kind of keep the shape of the garden and the feel of the garden. And so for example, this guy, these pieces are all dead. but there's new growth down there, and it's the same plant. So I'll probably cut back some of these top pieces, and then I leave them. Like, I don't throw them in the green bins right away. I leave them out just in case there's some seeds on there or something's on there that the birds want for a little while. And but this space here, it looks dead, but it's not. It's dormant. I'm expecting poppies to be coming up and some other flowers to be coming up through the winter months into the spring. And this is their space. So I'm not going to do too much in here other than pulling things like this plant is a weed that comes up every year. So I pull that, and things that I don't want growing here. But this summer and then the whole quarantining stuff, I just haven't had time. And so some things have died back. Like, this is a native. This is the rush milkweed, and it actually has some life to it. So I might trim back these branches to let the green branch have more of a chance to grow. So, you know, you kind of cut some things back and have a go at it, and just, you know, general health for the plants. But, you know, this plant right here is completely dead.
Okay, looks like we are working on her signal again.
Are in the wings waiting. And so yeah, long answer.
So cool. If anybody out there has any questions they would like to ask, they should totally put them in the chat right now. And in the meantime, I have another question. How much do you water?
Oh, that's such a great question. So with the natives, I will water a lot initially when I first plant the plants, and you want them to get established. So I will water them probably 2 weeks. Summer, I watered maybe once a week, and maybe it needed more water because it got really hot this summer. But you know, I can only do what I can do. And out in the wild, it would be doing with whatever water it, or, you know, could reach and stuff. So yeah, initially I will water every day till I feel like the plant is much how much water, but how long you water. And I can water my plants and it will look like it has been soaked through and through, and that everything is great and they got a good drink. But if you dig down, you'll see that down by the roots, they didn't get any water. It didn't soak into the ground. So I will water one section really good, then water another section, then another section, then another section. And then I'll go back and I'll water it all again. And then I'll do a soil test. And I don't do this all the time, you know, maybe every once. Making it down to the roots. And so that's really the trick with watering, is to make sure that the root system is getting the water, because that's where your plant is growing from. It's growing from the roots.
That makes sense.
So yeah, so good, you know, good thorough watering once a month or so, twice a month, depending on your plants, seems to do the trick. And you know, I didn't nearly water as much as I probably needed to keep these guys going, because it did get really hot this summer. And so hence a slight garden This plant here is buckwheat. And this is a host plant for the blues, the pygmy blues and the hair streaks. And their caterpillar larvae are so small that you would really need a magnifying glass to see them. And they are my absolute favorite butterflies that come around here. And there's just something about them being so tiny. And then they have the purpley blue wings on them. They're gorgeous. And they're hard to photograph. So they're one of those that you have to just kind of stand still and wait for them to land on a plant, and then just move in really slow and take lots and lots of pictures on them as you go. But that's the buckwheat, and there's many different kinds. You don't have to get one that's quite this big. And that's another thing, research your plants. I just was so excited when I started planting this garden that I just threw everything in here. And if I were to do it all over again, I would research my plants just a little bit more to see how big things would get and put them in better places. Like the sunflower, for example, would have been better. It does get very big, bushy, and it kind of takes up all of that space right there. And so it's not as pleasing to the eye, being right where it is, but I don't feel like digging it out. And it won't survive if I dig it out and move it. I don't think it will anyway. So it's fine. And I prune it back, and it seems very happy to get a good pruning every once in a while. And you'll see already coming right here. Right there is a new little sprout coming in. So this thing will fill in before I know it. And which is cool. I like that. Let's see, what else can I show you guys? I have one of the paintings that started with vegetable garden. And
Hopefully, Betina will be back momentarily. This is the fun and excitement from being live in the garden.
The sunflower, they actually like to come nectar off of this. And then the birds came. So all the goldfinches were coming and having a meal off of the seeds. And this is a seedling, a wild one. I didn't plant this sunflower. The birds put it there, which is totally cool. I don't care. And then I have some anise plants. This is a host plant for some of the swallowtails. And but I have yet to see anything on here, so we'll see if they come around. I do have some native host plants out front. Still haven't seen any on those guys yet either, but they just haven't found it yet. My neighbor next door has some citrus, and the giant swallowtails, the big black ones with the yellow stripe across their wings, they love her citrus, so they'll fly through my yard and have a drink on my plants, and then they'll go over to her yard and lay eggs on her citrus. And then I tried to grow a lemon tree, but it didn't really like me. And look at that sunset. Oh, that's so pretty. So the lemon tree didn't like my yard so much, but I'll try again. Ways to do that. If you collect them, you can collect them from eggs or from the larval stage if you find them that way. I put mine in tubs that I get from the dollar store, and you just have to be responsible about it and make sure that they have fresh food every day. And then when they're done and they've pupated and they've become a butterfly, that you clean that tub out with a little bit of bleach solution before you put new butterflies or caterpillars in there, to prevent any diseases from spreading. And again, look at that sunset. Woo.
Beautiful.
Not a bad view. So, and it's a little, not that it's cold today, but it's dark. So the butterflies, I don't tend to see them out when it's starting to get dusk. And you know, nature always has a way of proving you wrong. So I'll probably say that and see one right now. But now is the time where I'll see the hummingbirds will come through. I have an aloe plant in the corner that the hummingbirds love. It's the medicinal aloe. It's the one that you would cut the branches and make the aloe gel. And there's a hummingbird already heading to it. In the beginning of summer, love that nectar plant, and they'll sit on those stalks and have a drink. What else? So yeah, so my garden, you know, it's Betina's butterfly garden, but it's a nature garden. It's regular basis, lots and lots of butterflies, sulfurs, streaks, the grays, the blues, the monarchs, the Gulf fritillaries. And a couple other species have come through here. I actually want to come through my yard, and but I couldn't get a picture of her. And there, like the last time I saw those guys was up in the. So would you ever see one down here? And then I just happened one.
What was that again?
And so it's one of those, if you build it, they will come.
What was the rare sighting? I didn't catch the name.
Luckily for me, my garden was a blank slate, so I could kind of do with it as I wanted to. And but even if you have stuff in your garden, you can always add natives to it. And just by adding a few native plants, you're gonna help the butterfly species out, which helps the bug species out, which helps the birds, which helps, you know, everything on up the food chain. So doing one little thing by making a butterfly garden, you know, just it makes it all the way around.
That's so cool. I love this. Do you have anything else you want to show us outside?
Well, you guys want to see my critters?
Sure.
Critters, I got horses and things. Zoo has increased.
Hopefully Bettina will pop back here. Oh, there, we see something.
They were supposed to both be hens, but one ended up being a rooster. Whoops.
Oh boy.
But
I think we might be frozen.
Nope. Think I'm frozen?
Oh,
yeah, that's if I get into that back little corner, I always lose reception right there. So anything, do you see me?
Now you seem to be not frozen. Now we're looking at the beautiful sunset again.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's really weird if I hit that back corner, that's where I lose reception. But I'm gonna just kind of walk through. this tree right here is my neighbor's tree, but it's like, it's the tree of life for me. I've seen so many things in this tree. From I had a family of raccoons one time in that tree. There's been squirrels, there's been an assortment of birds. Oh, and I think I just see a parrot flying by. I had a I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, that's the Cooper's hawk that I was talking about, just flew by and landed in that tree. I've had the herons land on my roof. What else have I had back here? Haven't seen any snakes. I would love it if I had a snake back here, but it's probably not quite the right spot for them. But lots of butterflies and birds. I noticed this cute little yellow bird flying around, and I managed to get some pictures of it, and I posted it on the Facebook page Birding California, and was told that that's a Canada warbler. So I posted it the website, and they said it's a pretty rare find. And she was here for about 2-3 weeks and then disappeared. She either ran or she expired. I'm hoping that she just flew on.
Yeah.
Because they are migratory birds. So, but that was really cool to see her flying through the yard.
So
So yeah. And it's neat to be able to just take the time and sit in your garden and enjoy the wildlife that comes around. So many people are freaked out by nature, and there's really no reason for it. Nature is all around us. It's a part of us, and embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the bugs and the things that come around. And more times than not, they're not going to harm you if you leave them alone.
I love it. That's the perfect message.
Yay.
Yay. Well, I want to thank you so much. If we want to learn more about you and if we want to follow you, where do we go to do that?
The best place is to follow me on Facebook with Betina's Butterfly Garden Facebook page. There's also an Instagram, Betina's Butterfly Garden. One of these days I'll sit down and create a website. But right now, yeah, the best place to see everything that's going on is the Facebook, the good old Facebook. Or Instagram. Like, I do post pictures and stuff on Instagram. And occasionally I'll go live. And I'll go live on the Facebook. If I see something cool going on, I'll be like, oh my God, check this out. And so yeah, that's a really good way. Monarchs and raising monarchs. I also recommend the Facebook page, The Beautiful Monarch. And they're an amazing educational group to learn everything you need to know really about raising butterflies and monarchs in particular. And that's where I got a lot of my information from, and I continue to pass it on.
I love it. It's such a fun, cool hobby, and it's so awesome that you share it with so many people. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And for those of you who don't know, Betina often joins us on our annual monarchs and marine mammals field trip. And so we have worked with her on a variety of programs in the past, and they're always super, super fun and interesting. Well, I appreciate your time today. I love that we get to watch the sunset with you. And I just want to say to everyone on YouTube, thank you for joining us today. If you are not already on Betina's Butterfly Garden on Facebook and Instagram, you should totally go there and find her pages, because she's got awesome pictures to share with you and always new and cool stuff. And if you like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe, because you never know what we're doing next. And for kids, we're here every Tuesday at 4. And for adults and kids, a more general audience, we're here on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. So you can always join us. And thank you again, Betina. I had so much fun with you today.
You're welcome. It was a blast.
Yes. All right. So let me pause this meeting because we're still Facebook. YouTube ends a little earlier. So let me just decide. Let's see if I can see what it's ending so I can end the stream. And then we can say goodbye on our meeting.